Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get pre-orders of all the upcoming Force of Will sets, as well as releases of previous sets after they come out. TCGprime.com, with over 100,000 Force of Will singles, as well as out-of-print boxes from the past, and TCG accessories, as well as FoulLibrary.com, a wonderful resource for deck lists, article discussions, and more. Check them out at FoulLibrary.com, as well as these amazing patrons. Special thanks to guest lecturer member Vite Ramen. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers. DM073 here, and I am joined by Diva Dan. Say hi, Diva Dan.
Hello, everyone.
Good to have you back here for another episode of, I forget what we're calling this series. I think it's study sessions, tutoring sessions, whatever it is. It's the thing where we play a match and we talk about the matchup, we talk about play lines, opportunities, and we just kind of give you a deep dive into what a particular matchup looks like. As always, very appreciative of Dan for volunteering his member games that he gets as a member here on the channel for this video series. Dan, what are you playing today?
All right, we're playing Eldorado Odin. It's more Odin than Eldorado, but
yeah, that's fair. Eldorado, and I'm playing my take on Kaguya Moons. This is a matchup that just as we're getting stuff set up, this is a matchup that is potentially very Odin favored because of a particularly devastating card called Dark Sun. So it really does have some interesting implications, but outside of Dark Sun, there is some interesting back and forth. So we'll be kind of talking through some play lines and talking through the sequencing. Odin has a lot of interesting sequencing tools. Kaguya does not. Kaguya has a lot of I'ma just make additions and do stuff. But it'll be interesting to see what goes. It looks like I won the die roll, I think, if I'm reading backwards. So I'll be going first, which is great for you, right? Gotta love having the coin.
Yeah, gotta love the coin.
Gives you, there is a very possible big advantage in this matchup, especially being able to order out a Mistletoe on one. And also just having a guaranteed Darkness Will as well for Dark Sun early. So, with that, let's get started. Oof, this is an awful hand for me for the opener. Probably this card at least gets saved. So playing, as to talk about what my hand is, because I know, again, we're just going to talk through things. I have a Dispelling Stone in my hand, which is probably going to get snap kept, because, again, like we said, Dark Sun is annoying, and we got to make sure we have ways to deal with it. Does kind of rely on us hitting of some 6 Sages or hitting a Hanzo, but it's better to already have one half of the solution assembled with Dispelling Stone as opposed to, having to get both. And then in terms of mulligans for Dan, I would imagine that like early game we're looking for Mistletoe, we're looking for Dark Sun, Odin enters, and Flute. These are some of like your best kind of turn 1 plays against Kaguya, so that you're always able to threaten. The main point here in this matchup, I think, is the very first ordered Hanzo. If you can punish that ordered Hanzo, it can be pretty devastating. So that tends to shift. When I'm playing Odin against a Kaguya, that tends to kind of define a lot of my mulligan. Ready to go?
Yep, just casually putting additions into my Magic Stone deck apparently over here.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Draw to play. We hit that Magic Stone to the elements, so he's safe from the early Hanzo for now, and then we pass the turn.
All right, we're gonna go for turn.
Yeah. One of the great things to know, remember about Kaguya too, is if she's not tapped, or if she doesn't hit 6/8 stone on one, that means you don't have to worry about a Feasting. So typically there's no cancel or removal coming down out of a Feasting on turn 1 if they don't hit 6/8 stone, because Feasting would make me pay 0, so you could just pay through it anyway, and I don't have any good spot removal because my 1-drop spot removal is all stuff like Spark of Life, which I need a J ruler for, and see previous statement. So nice, hitting 6/8 stone on one is pretty good.
Yeah, that's fun times.
Ultimately, not as crazy considering you had the coin, but this does mean that you have the potential to save the coin for later, which could be pretty huge.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking for turn 1?
All right, we're gonna pay 1 white.
Sure.
And we'll go throw an Artillerist of Faith down there.
Is there ever a world where we're ordering this Artillerist? And I say that because this will give us, because we know we're not going to hit a Feathsing, right? Based on what you're going to discard from hand, there's a world where you mill a Brunhild, which then will add +2 to whatever you're discarding. And then makes Artillerist a pretty big threat, right? Because then Artillerist is getting +3 from Odin and +3 from himself, so suddenly he's a 9/9. And that's not assuming that you also just discarded a second Brunhild or something like that, right? So yeah. I think that there's a lot of safety, and because you know that I'm not going to be able to cancel and interact with it, applying that early game pressure off of Artillerist is pretty dang good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. We're definitely going to do that. All right, so we're going to go grab a Brunhild.
Yeah, this is the play that I've seen a lot of Odin players really shift to, is like kind of abandoning the reanimate from Brunhild as like more of a back end kind of thought, and just trying to get her removed from game as fast as possible to get those huge buffs. So that'll go, and then you can discard a card off of Artillerist. Yeah, I can't stop any of this.
10-2, discard.
So a Hegel.
Right. Hegel. Yep.
So that's 3 + 2 is 1,000 damage to me.
Yeah.
And like I said, now your Artillerist is currently a 9/9 with Pierce. So, that's a thing.
It's fun. It's a good. It's not.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
And in worse places. And that's it for my turn. So I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, this is a really strong. That's a really strong opening line, especially to be able to capitalize on a slow opening from a Kaguya. This line is already, I'm on the back foot, right? And if I miss a 6 Sage Stone here, like, I'm in so much trouble. Especially considering if I miss 6 Sage Stone here and you've got the black, right? Or the counter that can do white, green, or black, suddenly you have access to, and it's Ragstone. Suddenly you have access to Dark Sun, you still have access to Odin Enters the Game of Gods. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you have access to here, even just off of coin, to really put the squeeze on me even after this turn. And that's like the worst stone I could have hit. I'm playing a 1-of just because I think it's worth it. I'm not out, but like because of the strength of that early opener, this Ragnarok stone is very painful. It also means that you have, again, another turn of complete safety from cancels, right? So like the information that you have for what you can do on your turn just massively increased because my will availability is 1, and there's nothing that Kaguya can do for 1 with an empty board that does anything to you. So just pass. So feels good. Feels good for Odin.
Yeah. Shall draw for turn.
Then you can just free call stones.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, why not? Draw to play. Heck of a time.
Yep.
White.
The one thing to make sure of is if you do go to combat, your 6 Sage Stone will be void after you swing. So just be sure to float before you move into combat. That's the one fun thing about 6 Sage Stone.
All right. I think we're gonna pay a white to play a flute.
Yeah, seems great.
Oh.
That's a dark side. I assumed that there was one in there, so...
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm not milling 4 cards if I didn't get at least 1 Dark Sun, right?
Right.
Aggressive milling.
Yeah, for how strong it is in this matchup, I mean, for those of you who are watching this recording, like, for how strong a protected Dark Sun is in this matchup, like, yeah, like I think you're hard mulling to try to hit one. Outside of like maybe keeping a flute, like even artillerist I think comes second to a Dark Sun in this matchup. So yeah, the flute's totally good.
Yeah. So this is weird. All right, I guess we'll go another white. We'll go artillerist.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, you have these opportunities to just like really capitalize on. You know that for one green will with an empty board, there's nothing that Kaguya can do to stop what you're pressing the advantage. And so like absolutely throwing down another artillerist makes a ton of sense.
Especially with Brunhild outside of play, right?
Right, it's already adding 2, right? So like you're just going to be able to push down so much damage.
So we will send
a Misty. Yep. So it's only it's only hitting me for 600 damage there because it's but still that's good, and then you get to draw a card, right?
That's better than nothing. Yep.
And now you can swing at me for another 9 with the artillerist and like take me down to 15, like immediately threatening me to like the best part about this position here is Kaguya takes time to set up, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be cracking back at you here. Like if anything, my turn is going to be me just still trying to set up, and like you're already putting good pressure on board, especially because of Pierce. So
yeah.
So
We'll send it over to you.
Recover. We'll call Stone without calling Stone, because Ragnarok Stone, when it doesn't punish us, is very good. Yeah. And then we're gonna, I mean, we have to, like, we are literally at a position where we have to. Alt face, we are gonna have to try to order a Hanzo. So this is where the sequencing is super important. This is a good point, a good example of being able to talk about this. So Kaguya creates 2 enter effects here. There's the Hanzo enter effect, and then there's the Moon enter effect. When I put Hanzo's effect on the chase, I have to determine what my X value is going to be. And then if I can't pay that X value when it resolves, I don't get anything off of it. I'm currently going to set the X value at an attempted 1. I'm just trying to make 1 moon off of the Hanzo. And then I'm gonna and then I pass priority to you before I get a moon.
Okay, and then putting on the chase a Dark Sun with my 1 coin, so a coin of Dark Sun before the moon hits.
Checking to see if there's anything that I have in my hand. There is not anything in response to the cast. So then it triggers and I have to banish something. I don't have anything to banish.
Yeah.
Hanzo is going to attempt to make a moon. Does that resolve? A moon that isn't a moon.
Yep.
So we'll put this into play, right? And then we said our Hanzo effect was 1. So what we're going to do is still before the Hanzo ability resolves. Bless me.
Ooh,
this is why we saved it for earlier. We're going to try this Dispelling Stone. To try to pop the Dark Sun to keep my moons alive.
Yep. There's nothing I can do.
Okay. So then I get to draw a card. Dang it, Jeremy. Don't shuffle. Draw a card. And then shuffle that in. So then, now my moon is a moon again. And I can say, you know, it does Hanzo resolve. Okay, and then get another moon that's into play untapped, because I only made the X value of 1. And we'll recover a single stone. Let's see here. Moon for another moon and draw a card. With Kaguya enters the Game of Gods. And then draw a card. And then at that point in time, we pass. Nothing else to do right there. So like, but like I said, I have a setup turn. Like, that was a setup turn. Right now, you know, you have to stare down a couple of spell cancels, but I can't really stop any dudes. Currently, Hanzo is a 7/7. You can still call stone without calling stone. There's a world where probably just to capitalize, you know, you could use the flute to try to put a +1/+1 counter on your ordered artillerist. So then it's a 10/10, right?
Yeah.
Even bigger. You know, the whole draw before upkeeps kind of thing. So I would recommend, you know, we can just say that that's happened.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good call. Press buttons. There we go. She goes, and then she goes back.
And then, yep, and then we recovered, yep.
All right, so we will call stone for free. Good stone, good stone.
A lot of white. A lot of white.
A lot of white. Let's use a light.
Sure.
Light stone. Cast a dispelling stone onto the moon.
The moon that's active.
Yep.
We will float green with that moon, and then say okay.
Yep.
Moon's gone.
So I'm going to draw a card, and this card gets put back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go. No. Nope. I got 3, huh?
We have 3 will currently available. And as of at least right now, you have the will to be able to play a 1-drop and pay through a feat sing. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. If I only had something to pay. Let's try this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try white. White. Oh boy, why are we slow? Oh, apparently my internet is just being siphoned by my neighbors because I can't. There it goes.
There we go.
And then 3. You can do it.
Come on, flute. Come on, flute. I believe in you.
Goodness. I'm going to jump on my phone and turn everyone else's internet off in my house.
Repeating Faith Revival is an excellent card here.
Yep.
Because I can't respond to it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, so your targets right now are Hegel and Mistletoe.
Yeah.
I think Mistletoe feels like the better grab. But also Hegel might be the better grab, because then suddenly it's gonna make your artillerists a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So that actually might be better, because then you're big.
That was the first one I was thinking, was to try to grab Hegel just to get my.
Yeah. So then your artillerist, your ordered artillerist, is seeing a 3-drop and a 5-drop, so it's getting +8. So now it's an 11. 12 with the +1/+1. Oh no, let's see.
Yep.
Yeah, it's seeing a 5-drop from itself, so that's +8, and and then a 3-drop from its buff from the order, so 11, so 12. Yeah, so it's a 12/12, and then the other artillerist is also now a 12, is an 8/8, both with Pierce. So that's pretty dang good.
Yeah. Yeah, let's try to do something with that. We'll try to swing with the Artillerist of Fate.
The ordered one? 8. So swinging for 12. I'll use the floating green that I have for and Warrits shall be to go search for tails. Is that okay? Get me a Hanzo here, and then we'll recover. This is my first spell for the turn. Currently tapped out. Man, that guy's hitting like a truck. 12/12. Eagle. Still just huge. Man, I'm taking some damage regardless. I think my best option here is to flash in a Pharesia. And then use Pharesia's effect.
Sorry.
All good. I'm going to use Pharesia's effect, discarding a Kotaro to shoot Hegel for 1,000 damage.
Oof. Okay.
So then that goes through. But then the problem is that guy's still so huge. So Hegel's gonna die, but he's still seeing himself being puffed up to being a 10/10, right? So like I still have to throw something under the bus. Is the worst part. I'll give. Feels so bad. Just have to throw. I'm just gonna throw Hanzo under the bus. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So he's only 6/6, so I'll take 4.
Yeah.
And then my Hanzo's dead. Default face. And then the other artillerist is now currently still swinging. It's only 6?
2, 1, 3.
So yeah, it's only a 6/6, and Pharesia is currently bigger, so I don't see a point in swinging.
Oh, 6/7.
Yeah, she's a 6/7, so it won't be a trade.
No, don't want that. All right, that's it for me.
Okay, I'll draw. Gonna cover. You pass the turn.
Yeah. Untap doesn't like me right now for some reason.
No, I'll call Stone.
Yep.
Dot to play. In Stone. Okay. We'll go ahead and alt face. We'll order that Hanzo because we're pretty safe right now.
Yeah.
We'll make X a value of 6. So we'll make the moon. Hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make 6 more moons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason we can do that is because he's tapped out, so there's no kind of drawback to us trying to push here. Here. And then that recovers all of our stones as well. Because, you know, why not? Of course it recovers the stones. Good old Hanzo. And then what we will do... I know one of those cards in your hand is a repeating Faith Revival that I can't do anything about. But I've taken a lot of damage, and I don't like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double white. Oh, I can't kill the flute. Double white and 2. I'm gonna play Excalibur Revolution, and I'm gonna kill both your artillerists.
Wah, wah. All right.
Just to get those, not having to worry about it.
Yep.
And then flute, or then Phreesia is gonna go at the flute.
Not the flute.
And then at that point, I think we just pass.
All right. Recover.
Mm-hmm.
Draw a card. Call Stone.
You want to float some will first?
Oh, yeah, because he dead.
Well, the other thing to think about here, too, is
Okay.
Is there anything in your hand that you can order right now that might be worth ordering? Because the thing is, you can always call stone after ordering, right?
Yeah.
So there's a world where to not risk your 6-stage stone being dead, but still being able to get a stone, you order so that you can then call a stone, right?
Yeah, I can't pay for the thing.
Oh, it's too big.
It's too big.
Eldorado, what are you doing?
I know, I got this big fluffy thing here. Alright, we're gonna call stone, and we'll just hit a 6-stage stone. We'll just keep it easy, right?
Yeah. I mean, hey, there it is. Yeah, that's fine. 6-8 stone's good.
Alright, now we're going to do that thing.
The fluffy boy.
This is what we came here for.
This is what we came here for.
We got him the hard way. We drew into him.
Got him the hard way. We are going to do some stuff. So tap that other stone. In response to Eldorado's trigger, we're going to pay 2. And we're going to go absorbing knowledge, targeting Hanzo. We're gonna float another green with the moon. We're gonna use one of the other floating green to respond to Spark of Life, Hanzo, targeting the Eldorado, and then we're gonna let Spark of Life resolve, killing us both. Default face. Then we're gonna let Absorbing Knowledge resolve. I'll draw 2 cards. And then we're going to, still before his enter effect resolves, we're gonna order a feasting with the 3rd floating and cancel the enter. Unless you can pay a bajillion will.
I cannot.
And then, so that's fine. But this actually works out for you, right? Because you can still mill, right? Because I'm doing all of this to the enter effect of the Eldorado, so you still get that Odin mill, which means you can still mill another Brunhild, which is insane. And you know that Eldorado's gonna be able to come back next turn, right? With repeating faith. So I'm still the concern you have right now is obviously if I hit Galileo, right? So Galileo's your biggest concern right now because that's just going to be lethal. But outside of that, there's really not much that the Kaguya deck's going to be able to do. I don't have anything with swiftness, right? So this is a pretty safe. You're high rolling in the sense that you have to hope that my top decks are terrible, but at the same time, it's not that bad.
Is there a world where because I already have a Brunhild in my removed area?
Sure. Is there a world where
I take Artillerist of Faith, put him in my graveyard, and then because next turn I would have repeating Faith Revival.
Yeah, that's true. That's a total play. And the crazy thing about that, so like, yeah, that might actually be the, having seen, that's a good point, right? Having seen me do all of this stuff on Eldorado, I'm now like letting the Order of Faith like mill effect resolve, right? So now you get to kind of choose what you're going to mill. So that effect of you have a Brunhild resolved already based on what's in your hand, milling an artillerist here makes a lot of sense. Because if you have, worst case scenario is you discard the repeating Faith Revival after you bring it back to your hand with the to the artillerist and immediately deal 1,000 damage. Best case scenario is you've got a 2-drop in your hand and then I'm dead, or a 4-drop in your hand and then I'm dead. So yeah, no, that's absolutely a good play.
Yeah, but then I just remembered, right? I already have 2 in my graveyard.
To what?
Artillerist.
Oh, so then you don't even need to. So then you might as well. So you might as well just RFG another Brunhild at that point, because then the artillerist off of repeating Faith is lethal. Yep. Right. Yep. So yeah,
we got there. It was just a roundabout way to find the actual logical play.
Yeah.
I forgot you killed 2 of them, and they're sitting in my graveyard.
They're just sitting there.
Yep.
And that's why we have this discussion.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's why I play these games. All right, cool. We will. That's all we can do.
So we got to
put a big panda
back into the graveyard, and second Brunhild into the RFG. Yep, I see that there.
Yep.
Okay.
And then end turn.
This man. All I need. Well, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna the Eldorado still shows as being on field on my side, but I'm going to chalk that up to internet issues. And at the end of your turn, I'm going to flash it a second Pharesia, and then I'm going to draw.
I don't know. I'm just going to manually drag him.
Yeah, no worries. And then we're going to call Stone, because I might as well. And then we're going to go to combat, and we're going to punch you in the face for some damage. So Feasting's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14.
Woo.
Each of the Pharesias gets to hit you for 6.
20.
And so 26. Yeah, so down to 14. We'll unorder Feasting, which might be dumb, but we're doing it. Default face to draw a card. Draw. That's not gonna do us much. I mean, it kind of sets us up to stay safe, at least to try to push lethal. So we will pass, and then before you draw, we will order out a Kotaro to get another moon, and say you can't cast any chance this turn. So we're safe for a turn, at least, from the repeating, and now we're threatening lethal at you, right? So we've managed to find our way back. Little did I know this man has Keep the Faith in his hand, and it's just gonna...
I wish.
And just one-shot me. But you still get to draw for a turn, right?
No, I'm trying to...
It's gonna have it's a Charlotte. The outs right now are like Charlotte, Keep the Faith.
Keep the Faith, Charlotte,
or just another artillerist,
or an artillerist, right?
Right.
Just top deck an artillerist.
Brunhild also wouldn't be bad, right? Brunhild gets you there. Like you got quite a few out. Like if this is what I feel like I have to do, like that feels pretty good for you, right? Like it's like okay. Especially since you can like order a resonator to make sure that I don't try to cancel it or something. Like you just need to be able to put an enter effect of the artillerist on the chase and have it resolve, and then I just lose.
All right, so I don't think 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, we could do this. Okay, so we're going to order and pay 3.
There's the Brunhild.
Yeah. Put the Brunhild.
And even if you didn't even if I could, even if doing anything with it to it would matter, the only cards in my hand are currently 2 Sparks of Life. So you can mill another Brunhild off of the ordered, off of the Odin, reanimate the artillerist, and regardless of what you discard, it's gonna shoot me for at least 12 damage.
Yep.
Because of the 3 Brunhilds, and that's it. I literally can't do anything about it. So that's just gonna be the L. And like I said, that's what I'm saying about like the early pressure gives you a lot more comfort than you think. And yeah, absolutely well played on that game for sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll take my L. Going into game 2. This time though, we're gonna see how it goes with me on the coin.
Oh boy.
So now I get access to. I get to do good stuff. Pass the turn to you. Get my coin on here.
1,
2, 3.
I don't know how I got 3 extra light stones in my deck here.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's always fun.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching, this is the thing of, sometimes you might not think, oh, I should order an artillerist, right? But against Kaguya, one of the best things she has is cancels, right? And so this is why Repeating Faith Revival is so good against her, and it's also why, order as a mechanic is helpful against her. Like, he needed that artillerist to stick, and it put 2 enter effects on the chase. I'm like, if I have a feasting, I can cancel one of them. If I don't have a feasting, I'm just about to take a bunch of damage off of an artillerist. Like, it's a good situation for sure. Now, the roughness of going on the draw or going on the play against Kaguya is if you hit a 6 Sage Stone and I have a feasting, you're in for a bad time.
Yeah.
So it's a toss-up. But, there's really nothing you can do about that other than just sit and wait. But
no, yeah. Yeah, so we'll call stone.
Sure thing. 6 Sage Stone trigger resolves.
Oh god, okay. I was getting ready. Oh boy. That was scary.
Mm-hmm.
This is weird. Let's order.
Yep.
We just talked about him. An artillerist of faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Like, if in this situation, this idea of like order an artillerist or order a mistletoe, right? Both of them are amazingly good against a Kaguya deck on 1, especially since I don't have feasting. Because if I had a feasting, I would have used it, right?
Yep.
I would have coined out feasting, canceled your 6 Sage Stone trigger, and made that 6 Sage Stone feel awful. Like, I would have done that. So, like, you're perfectly safe to just pop off here, mill a Brunhild, discard your biggest card, and just shoot me for a bunch of damage.
Cool.
This man's about to discard Sword, and I'm about to take 18, and I'm gonna cry.
We're gonna put Brunhild to expel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit creeped out here that you know exactly what's in my hand because we're gonna discard a sword.
Yep, discard a sword. I'm gonna take 18, and just like that, nearly half of my life total just gone. Just gone. And you get to draw.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got ahead of myself there. Cool.
Yeah,
all right. Well,
very strong opening against Kaguya.
Yeah, it was a good opening. All right, then we'll pass turn over.
Draw. Call stone. If this is ragstone, I'm gonna flip. Okay, good. Okay, great.
Oh, God.
Whew. Well, we can't not at least, threaten something, right? So we'll try to we'll cast this. We'll go get ourselves a Feasting now that we can. And then so that she's at least kind of live, we'll go ahead and spend the 1 for Kaguya enters the Game of Gods to make a moon draw card. And now there might be some ideas where we don't do this play line. For those of you who are looking at my hand, like I've got Gale of the Moon in hand. So like there's a world where we like cast to search, right? And then at least have Gale. And the reason why it's like, because he's already ordered, like it's better for us to almost just kind of throw Feasting under the bus. So being able to threaten a cancel and a body because of what the rest of the hand is, doing Kaguya enters, it also draws us into something, right? So it sets us up for maybe a backup strat. But it's not looking great. Like that opener, not hitting a 6 Sage Stone, staring down this, artillerist that's already swinging at us for 9 with Pierce. Not a good look.
Yeah.
Not a good look for us.
All right, so Odin is going to call in a stone without tapping, so that's cool. Don't be a ragstone, por favor. All right.
The other reason why, the other reason why to go for the Kaguya enters the Game of Gods play on that turn 1 is also because it does set us up for a moon for like a turn 2 Hanzo, right? Of like, before we call stone, order Hanzo, we've got the moon to be able to protect it and pay into it, that kind of thing. So that's the other reason why like maybe Kaguya enters is the good play there. But yeah, it's a nice looking artillerist you got there, bud. Swinging at me.
Thanks.
Swinging at me for 9 feels great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can do for him. So when he swings, that 6 Sage Stone is DED. So I think the smart thing to do here would be to pay white. And then we are going to do an Odin enters the Game of Gods.
Okay.
Do I get greedy and put 1?
It'd be
counter?
3. It'd be 3 +1/+1 counters.
Oh, because broken out. Yep. Okay. Not as greedy. Man, I'm staring right at her too, and I'm still.
So we're doing the.
Yep, we're doing the search for 3.
So there is a world. So let's talk about this, right?
3, but counters.
So there is a world where, because you're going to look at 3 cards, and because I'm assuming you're popping my moon, there's a world where doing the top 3 looking has a better chance for you here, and here's why. So let's say among those top 3 cards, one of them's a Brunhild.
Yeah.
Right? You send a card that's meaningless to the RFG, you get to replace the Odin enters into your hand, and then you send the Brunhild to grave, she gets removed. Suddenly now you're adding +4 to everything. So now Artillerist is seeing himself as a 5-drop, pumps him up to 8, and then also sees himself as a second 5-drop for Odin, pumping him up to 13. So you're getting 2 more damage out of it, and potential for 2 more damage out of it, and you're replacing Odin enters. And in a game of, like, in this situation, I think that might be the better play, because you're already applying so much pressure. Like, 9 damage is still a lot. But the likelihood of being able to keep your hand value up with the thing, is just better. And I have to, because I have to force you to do something, right? I have to flash in this Feasting to say, please tap out or I cancel that. Now the ultimate punish here is you have a second Odin enters the Game of Gods in your hand, and you just cast that and blow up my moon anyway, and then they both resolve and I cry. But I have to force this out, right? So I flash in the Feasting in response to the cast. I'm going to tell you to cancel that unless you can pay 1.
Well, I don't want to make you cry. but I have...
See, but this, you played this exactly right. Like, this is the exact play, right? So now this is even better. So now you could even... I still think that replacement is the best thing for it, because you're keeping your hand filled up. So this is going to pop my moon. Absolutely. The first one's going to get to resolve. You can look at top 3, because now you're digging 6, right? So the likelihood that you hit a Brunhild is now significantly higher. And my feasting ain't doing nothing against this big Piercy boy.
Remove from game. And... Okay, so we'll put this card in hand.
Yep, card I don't get to see.
Hand. We'll do this card in graveyard.
Okay.
Graveyard, and this is discard.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll expel this card, which seems weird, but we could talk about it later, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's fine.
And then
there's a world where Dark Sun Engrave might be the better choice because it's a keep the faith target.
Yeah.
But because of what the board state is right now, like, slamming a Hagel seems fine.
Yeah, right.
Like, it seems okay.
So we will send this to expel. Oh, yep, expel. We'll send this to discard because, just why not a handful of Suyas?
Hey-o.
And then we'll put this to my hand.
So, like, the bad news here is you missed the Brunhild, right?
Yeah.
The fine news is that you baited a bunch of stuff out of my hand and you're still swinging for 9.
Yeah.
Like, so even with a block, I'm gonna take 5 damage here, which I have to block. I can't not.
Yep.
I can't just comfortably take 9 damage. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's over.
Sounds good. So now I'll recover. So I'm a little bit safer here in the fact that now you're tapped out, right? So now I can at least go into a Hanzo. But you've done, again, you're not concerned about this turn because the Hanzo's not going to do much anyway. And you're, again, applying that great pressure. So you're doing a really good job of capitalizing on what this matchup's, like, where the weakness in this matchup is. So I get to determine my X value of 1. I make a moon so that I can still pay for it. That recovers here. I then get to call a stone. It's a 6 sage stone. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. And then I can pass. But, like, this isn't super strong. Like, this isn't a super strong position. Because you're going to get to call stone. I've only got 3 will to work with. We're suddenly staring down a repeating faith revival opportunity. And again, your artillerist is still much bigger than my dude.
Yeah.
Now, there's a world where, like, in this particular situation where going to combat first might be the better option. Especially since now we're in game 2 and I play Pharesia, right? So suddenly that Hegel play line with repeating faith doesn't feel super great because there's almost a world where because you're currently winning the pressure game, there's a world where you shift your stone usage to being reactive, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because you're currently applying pressure, I have to start trying to catch up, which means I'm gonna have to try to start being proactive, and that's when you get to shift to being the punish because you have good punish tools. It's just you got to be careful with it.
Yep.
So obviously the first thing to do is call stone.
Yep, call stone. Yeah, why not? Let's go to combat.
Yep.
And then we'll
be sure to float with 6 sage always first.
Yep. We'll float darkness.
Ooh, okay. That's an artillerist of faith currently swinging at me for 9. It's just I'm so. What do I do here? All of this feels bad. Because like you already have a Brunhild removed.
Yep.
You've got floating black. That tells me that there's a possibility of a Dark Sun. But I can't afford to take 9. Yeah, I think I have to... This feels so bad. I have to flash in Phreesia. And then I have to use Phreesia effect to try to shoot that man for 10 damage. Wait, can she hit J-Roller? Yes, she can hit J-Rollers. So, pay 1, attempt to shoot that boy. You made the Kaguya player tap out on your turn. That feels pretty good.
Yeah, that feels really good. So you're gonna shoot that boy
for only 1,000 damage. So if you have a way to make him bigger, right?
Yeah. So I think we pay 1 light. And we play a Keep the Faith.
Target for Keep the Faith
would be Artillerist of Faith.
The Artillerist,
giving him plus 400.
Oh, okay, just a straight pump.
Yeah.
We will banish a moon to cancel it unless you pay 1. So that's effect is on the chase.
Yeah. Oh, this is so weird. Yeah, I guess we let him die.
You could always use the black floating, right?
Yeah. I think I want to cast the Dark Sun.
That's very fair.
No,
the other world is you pay the 1, which forces me to either banish my other moon, which also doesn't feel too bad for you, right?
Yeah.
Because then you can flash in Dark Sun, force me to sacrifice the Phreesia, and then I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I'll pay the 1 white.
Yeah, and then I have to try to... So suddenly this guy's going to try to gain Drain. I can't have that happen.
Yeah.
So I have to banish the other moon to try to force the Keep the Faith cancel.
Yep. Alright, so that cancels Keep the Faith.
So, yeah, cancels Keep the Faith. So now, hear me out. So this is where you have to think about what's in hand, right? So, I haven't declared blocks yet, because you just swung, but now the man has... So, you have a floating black. I'm trying to shoot this man for 1,000 damage. I haven't declared any blocks yet. If this Keep the Faith resolved, he'd go up to being a 13/13 with Pierce and Drain. Meaning that if the only thing... And flying, because of course he does.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So the only thing I could block with would be Hanzo, which would block, and sure, it would set me up for being able to potentially order next turn, right? Which I would gladly throw this Hanzo under the bus.
Yeah.
But it would still hit me for 9, taking me down to 8. And all I would have left on board is a Phreesia. Now we'd trade, you'd lose your Artillerist, but the alternative here is you're going to lose your Artillerist anyway. So that's one possible option, right? The second thing to consider here is the fact that I currently have a dead on board Hanzo, and as far as you can tell, no way to get rid of it. So the right play, I think, in this situation is actually to just let your Keep the Faith get canceled, because then your Artillerist is going to die. I'm not going to take any damage, but as we said before, I'm already super pressured. And then you have a free Dark Sun, which gets rid of my Phreesia. So now, the Kaguya player, if I wanted to try to do anything with this Hanzo, I'd have to spend will on my turn to kill it.
Yeah.
Right?
And that feels good.
And that feels really good. So, yeah, doing that, I think this playline is correct.
Cool.
to go this way. So once again, played it tapped you out, but it left me in a position of like, well, now what?
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that you need to consider. And one of the things that we've talked about with Kaguya is she has trouble unordering, right? She has difficulty in it. So she typically doesn't need to worry about it too much because, she's just like going to sit on a Hanzo for forever. But when you have these bad situations like this, where it's like, well, I need to unorder my Hanzo and I can't, suddenly, where does my moon generation come from? How am I leaving a will for stuff, like everything else? And now you have a dark sun.
Yeah.
Right? So like now I'm just hoping that I can top deck into a Sparkle Life, or I have one in hand, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll draw for turn.
Okay. Yep. I'll pass it over to you.
And then recover, and at least call a stone, draw to play, and at the sign of at the sound of the tone, the turn will be yours. Ding.
Oh boy. All right, so we will recover.
And here's where our lovely friends, the beautiful magical Repeating Faith Revival becomes busted.
Yeah, it would be sad. So there was no reason. I guess there's no reason not to call a stone. Float a white.
Mm-hmm.
Call stone. You can do it. There it is.
I believe in you, Odin. Ragstone.
So he didn't believe in himself.
That's okay. It's that because like this is if there was ever a turn if there was ever a turn to hit Ragstone, this is it. Because I am showing like no threats right now, right? Because if I had a way to unorder Hanzo, I absolutely would have cast it on my turn.
Yeah.
Right? To be able to set up, especially since you were tapped out. Like there was no reason for me to not just immediately unorder, repeat, go. So like the concerning cards right now out of the Kaguya deck are like a Gale of the Moon, a Feathsing's not concerning right now. A Pharesia maybe is kind of concerning here, but not really. A Kotaro is not going to do anything, especially since I have no moons. So like, you have a lot of, because of the lack of plays on my turn, you have a lot of knowledge for what's in my hand. Like I'm telegraphing pretty hard. So like the card to watch out for in this exact situation, because you don't want, as much as you have a Dark Sun, right? You still don't want to let me get moon editions if you can help it. So watching out for a Gale of the Moon is probably like the thought. But then you're just like, Repeating Faith, we're good. So.
All right. So I think with the one floating, right?
Sure.
Pay the 3 and do a Repeating Faith?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we'll take an Artillerist?
Yep, absolutely the play. Can't chase to it. Repeating Faith comes back to hands.
Plop him into the field.
Trigger, I can't do anything to stop it, so you can discard whatever you want and shoot me for whatever its cost is, +2.
Shoot you with a flute?
That's gross. Its total cost is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's shooting me for 1,400 damage.
Oof. Oof.
I'm down to 3.
All right. Well, that was interesting.
That was disgusting. That was disgusting.
that was disgusting. That's the best way to say it. All right, we'll send it over to you and see here.
Yeah, just so that we can have something, we're gonna flash in a Kotaro.
Yep.
And then draw and then recover. Oh, so that's an okay card for us to hit here. Still feels terrible, but it's an okay card. We're gonna cast Apricia's Big Show.
Ooh, okay.
Keep the top 2. Both of those cards are atrocious. We're gonna send them to the bottom of the deck and cry. Because neither of them are cards that we're ever gonna see again. Callstone with Hanzo. Draw to play. So we're here. We've got access to a lot of stuff potentially off of Prisio. Not that you're going to block, because why? Or actually, it's actually better for me to not do anything, because like if I swing with Kotaro, you're like, oh cool, Artillerist will block, and then I'll just revive it again. I'm like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I'll just pass. The problem is though that you can just swing with it.
Yeah, right.
I'm at 3.
Draw for turn.
Call stone without calling stone, or without tapping.
Oh yeah, good call. Thanks, Ragstone. Call stone.
Got another white stone, another Amadeus
Another
crystal.
white stone.
So some things to consider here at this point is we have you've got a Prisya with a 1-drop cast. The 1-drops that Kaguya can grab would all be terrible in this situation. I could go up to a maximum of a 3-drop, which, thinking about what's in the line, still all feels terrible for me. Because again, I've got no moons. So yeah. And I can't order anything because again my Hanzo is dead. So Prisya is not really a concern. You don't have to worry about Feasting right now. Kotaro is only just this pitty little 6/6 body. So once again, we're at a position where your really only threat that you're worried about here from the Kaguya deck is Gale of the Moon. Like that's probably it. Because Gale of the Moon also makes Feasting better. Gale of the, so like an order is really strong here. Of anything, literally just ordering anything is really strong here, and then repeating faith is also very strong.
All right, so we are going to order.
Yep.
And we are going to go 1, 2,
sure,
3,
4. Eldorado Pearl Shine.
Eldorado.
And that's lethal. Because that enter effect goes on the chase, and like we said, I don't have a way to interact with that, right? I have no way to make moons, so which means Feasting can't do anything about it. Even if I miraculously had a way to make a single moon and then also cast this Feasting in my hand, you'd have the 1 will to pay for it. Like there's nothing I can do to stop Eldorado making 4 gems and then burning me to death with a fire gem. So that's it. That's exactly, like, you played both of those games exactly right for what this matchup is supposed to do. Like your early games for Odin in this matchup are to apply so much pressure that the Hanzo, like the Kaguya player, has to act, right? And then it's like you force the Kaguya player to have to act. You play protect the Dark Sun to make their turns get really awkward, because anytime that I have to waste my time trying to sequence my way out of a Dark Sun, it slows down the rest of my game plan, which is usually enough for you to start sticking Artillerists and then being like, you don't have a million Feastings, you have 4. And eventually I'm going to throw so much damage at you through the Artillerist or things like Mistletoe with Pierce or Mistletoe's pump-up effect that, like, you're going to struggle. And so, yeah, you played that exactly right, and that's exactly how this matchup is supposed to go. I mean, obviously, you can, it can go badly, right? Obviously, Kaguya decks can win. You and I played a game where before we recorded, and you've seen that, like, it's not like an absolute 90-10 blowout, but I would say the matchup is 65-35, or even maybe a 70-30 in Odin's favor most of the time.
Yeah, and you got to definitely put that early pressure and just keep the pressure up.
Yeah, absolutely. Pierce is a hell of a drug in this matchup.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it felt good that Eldorado was the one who came in there to
came in clutch,
cherry on top of the game, right?
Came in clutch. Yep.
The name of the deck right there.
This is. I mean, this is also a really good example of, like, being able to really get a read on your opponent's hand. right?
Yeah.
Like seeing the Kaguya playlines, knowing how the Kaguya deck operates. Because like if you weren't really thinking about, yeah, Kaguya has a hard time on ordering, you might have used the black to like pay through the Keep the Faith, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, and then suddenly you unlock this Hanzo that's in my hand while you're completely tapped out and I'm at 3 stones, which unlocks my Gale of the Wound, which unlocks my Prisia, which unlocks my, feasting, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you hadn't been thinking, you know, this is the struggle of the Kaguya deck, you might have made that misplay, right? But you know, understanding the other deck, understanding the pressure of the hand, like you could have also, like I said, even with the Dark Sun present, you could have cast a spell not thinking about the fact that I could cancel it, even just to get an addition, which then turns on my Kaguya a little bit better, right? Or my feasting a little bit better. So thinking about, you know, knowing the cards that are present in the other deck, in this particular matchup especially too, is a really good example of changing your play lines based on the read. And so, you know, I mean, we talked through it a lot, but I mean, for those of you who are watching, like, use this as an example of things to think about when you're playing the matchups. So, well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
2-0, move on to the next round. Going up in the table numbers.
Yeah. No more submarining now.
No, there you go. There you go. So, thank you guys so much. Again, huge thanks to Dan for being willing to take his membership games and turn it into this series for you guys. If this was something you really enjoyed, please consider, you know, subscribing. And if this is something that you would like to engage in, like you want to have these kinds of sessions with us, it is an option for players if you join at the higher membership levels to get these games where we can talk through these matchups. We can talk through some kind of teaching, deck critiques and stuff like that. So consider clicking that join button down below to support the channel and getting access to some cool stuff like this. But until next time, this has been myself, DMO73, and I've been joined by the wonderful Diva Dan, saying, class dismissed.